Hey guys, this is Nick. Welcome to another edition of the Drum Blog. Really appreciate those who've checked out the first two. The first one giving a tour just about the drum cave, got some really positive feedback about that. And then the second one was a really exciting one because I got to talk with Mr. Jim Riley from Rascal Flatts. For those of you who are new to this segment, please check out that interview. It's really cool to hear a professional like that talk about touring and his his approach to drumming in general. Now we've talked about the cave, we talked about some equipment. What I want to do is kind of give a little information here. So what I'd like to do is talk today a little bit about just general practice technique, more specifically gripping the stick. More drummers I've talked to, students, professionals alike, occasionally we all get to that point where we have a problem holding the stick, or we're doing that crazy fill and all of a sudden we lose it. It goes off, flies off somewhere. It's happened to me, it's happened to all sorts of people. There's lots of gimmicks, lots of tricks out there. Some of them work, some of them don't. You see some of the sticks that have the grip on them. Some guys like to use drummer's gloves. Personally, I can't handle that. So what I like to practice myself and teach a lot of my students is just working on fulcrum. Now, what do I mean by fulcrum? For those of you who are new to the idea, it's finding that proper balance point in the stick, right? That point where we can grip and really make the stick pivot correctly. And then keeping that when we play. So there's a few different approaches, and I'll go through a couple of them here. Now, the one I recommend is the first finger fulcrum in the first knuckle. So what we do is we create that with the index finger and the thumb. And again, we want a nice pivot right here. If we ever lose this, that's when the stick goes off flying somewhere. For those more aggressive rockers, it's hard to keep that fulcrum out there, so that's when sometimes you go to a second finger fulcrum, or second knuckle fulcrum, I should say, between this knuckle here and the thumb. So regardless of what you like to do, you got to make sure to keep this pivot point here. If you lose that, that's when most drummers lose the grip on the stick. So keeping that fulcrum at the front is going to help a lot with the grip. There are some players who prefer to put the fulcrum or the pivot point in the back of the hand, using more of a back finger fulcrum. This is something you'll see with a lot of concert performers. Again, it's the concept of manipulating a weight, which is something we could talk about another time. The main point here is, regardless if you're a student or professional, if you're having trouble keeping a grip on your stick, you want to make sure, check your fulcrum. That's usually what it is. Again, if we talk about function in the hand, you have your fulcrum, everything else is support. Even those players who use a lot of finger technique, it's still very important to keep that fulcrum in there. So whenever you're playing tricky rudiments or you're moving around the kit, check the fulcrum. So if you're losing your stick, that's more than likely why. All right? If you like what you hear, make sure to leave some comments below, or if you have a different approach that you like, let me know. Otherwise, take that into consideration. We'll have more work on the pad later. I am using my HQ Real Feel pad today. It's really nice for practicing. It has the two sides, a little more resistance on the bottom, but I kind of like the bounce on the top side here. So get to the practice pad, do some practicing. Next time we'll talk some drum kit. We'll see you guys next time.
Died.